Hi, this is Diana, and we are team number 2, and this is our second online report project. We are assigned to research Panama. Sarah will talk about the institution, Wes will go over the economy, Hannah will talk about the top businesses, trade partners, and the FDI, Lauren will go over the top construction markets, projects, and firms. I will go over the US and Texas contacts and its resources in the country. Reagan will talk about expatriate resources, and Wells will finish off on our decision whether the TCC should try to enter Panama's market to do business. Let's get started.
Panama is a small Central American country, and the government system is a popularly elected representative system of government with executive, legislative, and judicial branches. The head of state is run by President Laurencio Cortizo, who was recently sworn in and promised the country to fix corruption and close the wealth gap. This corruption and major political issue he was referring to included a scandal with the Brazilian engineering firm Odebrecht that admitted to paying bribes to politicians and government officials. The company's chief executive and dozens of other company executives were jailed because of this. The government ministries of Economy, Commerce, and Trade are the state ministers of Economy and Finance, the Minister of Commerce and Industry, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Panama's main culture is a hybrid of African, native Panamanian, and European culture. Their language is Spanish, and their majority religion is Catholic. As far as proper business etiquette goes, handshakes are expected when greeting and when introducing yourself to each other, and business cards are also expected. It is not professional to address business colleagues by their first name only until enough familiarity has been established. Meetings in Panama can change with very short notice, although punctuality is expected. This section relates to Chapter 2 and 3 because it discusses language, culture, and ethics on global business, as well as politics and economics in Chapter 2.
The population of Panama as of 2017 is 4.1 million. Panama has a poverty rate, back in 2017, the poverty rate of Panama was 14.10% and has actually declined 0.5% from 2016. Panama had got an economic freedom score of 67.2, making it the 50th freest economy in the world as of 2019. Panama became the 132nd WTO member on September 16th, back in 1997. But they are not currently a member of any large trade organizations. Panama actually, its national rank as of 2019 declined from 86 to 79, and Panama is the 93rd least corrupt nation out of 175 nations on the list. The GDP of Panama over the last 5 years of rising. In 2013, it was measured at 45.6, and in 2018, it was measured at 65.06. So we see a rise of almost 20 points. The money they use in Panama is called the Balboa. Since they've used that since 1904, and it's directly equal to United States currency. So one Balboa equals $1 US. And consequently, because of this, the US dollar has it's legally circulated in Panama. So if you went there today, you could use either the Balboa there, or you can use just the money you have in your wallet, the US dollar. This makes it really easy to do day-to-day transactions, and this actually helps the Panama economy because they're very much linked to the worth of the US dollar.
Among the many companies in Panama, the top 3 are all airlines. They include Aeropolis, Air Panama International, and Air Panama. Panama's top export partners include Ecuador, the Netherlands, and the United States. Their exports are all merchandise goods. As mentioned in Chapter 5, these are tangible goods. They include refined petroleum, bananas, and coal tar oil. Top importers include China, the United States, and Colombia. Their imports are in the same category as their exports, so they're tangible goods. They import refined oil and crude petroleum. Panama is one of the top recipients of FDI in South America. The players involved in this increase in their FDI are the US, Colombia, and Switzerland. This large growth in FDI within the past 2 years has made it a really attractive country to invest in. The government of Panama recently announced the launch of 3 big transportation and energy projects. with investments of over $4 billion. These investors include AES Corporation, committing $1 billion, JICA committing $2.5 billion, and TY Land International, a company in Japan, investing $17 million. Overall, Panama is up and coming and is a fast-growing market with many import and export opportunities.
One of the biggest infrastructure projects Panama has had in the last 5 years is its metro system. The city added it in mid-2014 to improve transportation in Panama City as well as to the west side of the country. It also provides commuters with a viable alternative to road transportation like the Metrobus, which has seen a multitude of issues in the past years. Since then, they have made plans to expand the metro by constructing 4 more lines and a light rail line to further alleviate the traffic congestion. Another major project in Panama was the $5 billion Panama Canal expansion that opened mid-year in 2016. The project took 10 years to complete, but has doubled cargo capacity for the canal by increasing the width and depth of the canal, adding a new third set of locks, and a water reusing feature. There was a multitude of contractors and subcontractors involved in the expansion. Tetra Tech, a California-based company, is one of the 3 contractors involved in the design of this joint venture. Chapter 5 talks about the importance of international trade and some of the barriers that countries face when trying to engage in such trade. The expansion and upkeep of the Panama Canal serves a major role in alleviating some of these barriers for countries by shortening the distance cargo ships need to travel, becoming increasingly more efficient in the number of ships that can pass, and expanding the canal so that larger ships may pass. It is one of the most instrumental trading ports in the world because of its location and willingness to work with other nations. Some of the top construction and engineering firms include CMG Developers, Margegran, and Instructus Nacionales. In 2018, there was a construction strike over the scale of salary adjustments that led to multi-million-dollar losses. These losses were estimated to be approximately $30 million a day in a strike that lasted 30 days. These are just some of the recent infrastructure and construction challenges that Panama is facing.
The U.S. Embassy and Consulates in Panama is located in Panama City, and John Freely is the former U.S. ambassador. The American Chamber of Commerce Panama is located in Alboa, Panama. The president there is Janet Diaz Granados. There's a program called Liderazgo de Directores de Escuela de la Región Educativa de San Miguelito. This program's objective is aimed for education directors to improve their leadership skills, help them develop new strategies through workshops and sessions. That way they can implement new projects in education centers, basically just to improve education in Panama. The program has been supported by 40 different companies and has been beneficial for over 20,000 students in 30 different schools. Now, the Panama Embassy is located in Washington, D.C., and the ambassador there is Juan Ricardo de Tenaos. They have a program named Instituto para la Formación y Aprovechamiento de Recursos Humanos. This program offers funding for Panama students who get approved in the program first to study in the United States. An example of a Texas business working in Panama is Texas de Brasil. Texas de Brasil is a family-owned restaurant that started here in Texas. They have different locations in 8 different countries, and basically they have to keep in mind what was mentioned in chapter 2, the key principles that are basically embedded in a country's culture. In order for them to be successful, they have to keep in mind all of the culture, traditions, and basically the ethics behind it. They have done a great job because they have different locations in different countries and different places here in the United States, as I mentioned earlier. Expo.gov has reports that come from their country commercial guide for Panama that are published under the authorization in the U.S. government's Trade Promoting Coordinating Committee. It has information such as market overviews, regulations and standards, financing information, and political environment. Basically, things that you need to know before you start your business or take your business to a different country.
In Panama, the consumer price index is 55.16, while in the US it is 76.53. This is a pretty significant difference because Panama is so much lower. The CPI is a measure that looks at consumer goods and services and it averages out the cost. According to my research, it is most common for singles to live in neighborhoods along the beach, some being Bahama Beach, Gulf Vista, and Heritage Village. Some of the most family-friendly neighborhoods include Costa del Este, El Cangrejo, and Casco Viejo. Some of the best schools for children include Knights Bride Schools International Panama, International Schools of Panama, and Balboa Academy. Women are treated equal to men. Surprisingly, Panama has a very diverse population, which came from the steady immigration over the last 500 years. The biggest concern in Panama is their levels of air pollution due to emissions from industries and transportation, and also their soil erosion and deforestation. Some things to avoid in Panama would be the crime on the streets and the heavy drug trafficking. It'd probably not be very smart to go out in the city at night. Some very popular nightlife things in Panama include La Reina Dorada, which is a pub which is the #1 choice for beer in Panama. There's also Tantalo, which is a very popular rooftop bar. And as well as that, there are also many popular attractions in Panama. Some being Panama Canal, which consists of rainforest, jungles, and sailing. And we also have the San Blas Islands, which consist of sailing and snorkeling. Panama has many different things to offer, and it is a beautiful country to live, and also the cost of living is much lower compared to the United States. It is definitely a great place to visit or live.
To summarize this, yes, we think it is a good idea to move to Panama. A few reasons to that. One is the market there is relatively stable, and also because what we learned in Chapter 7, dealing with foreign exchange, and the fact that the US dollar legally circulates in Panama, it makes it easier for us to relocate there, and it also backs the smaller Panama economy with the larger US economy. Also, the cost of living there is relatively low, as is the cost of healthcare, which is also pretty low. And there will always be good shipping business through the Panama Canal. So given by these reasons, we think it's a good idea to go ahead and move there from the United States.